A lizard named Rango in a Hawaiian shirt just gave me one of the best westerns I've seen in years, and I was not ready for it. This movie opens to a lizard who doesn't even know what his name is, who turns out to be a pet in a cage in the back of a car. And this dude really jinxed it by saying,
"What our story needs is an ironic, unexpected event that will propel the hero into conflict."
And this almost took me out. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the timing on that was hilarious. I was locked into the movie and I was very curious of what was happening, and then everything just broke out into straight up chaos. And this dude is just completely stranded in the desert. And then the first thing he does is find roadkill, which turns out to be an armadillo that isn't actually dead, but is like split in half, which I don't know how he's alive, but he's alive and he's starting to tell us riddles. So if this spiritual armadillo can't live, then it really makes you wonder how a pet lizard is even supposed to survive out here in the desert. Well, the answer is he doesn't. This intro is basically a crash course on how not to survive. And after Rango gets this mystical speech from this armadillo about
the spirit of the West, amigo.
And with this history lesson over and his brain officially fried, Rango's back on the move. He runs into a toad, and this was actually hilarious. I cannot tell you how much it cracked me up. Like, this toad is talking about,
"I let you kiss my sister."
and we're basically cousins, and get this, he's saying all this while they're running from their lives from an actual hawk. Like, you could not pick a worse time to try to get this guy to help you. It is awesome, and I loved it. Then eventually, whenever the toad gets taken by the hawk, we meet a lizard lady who has a southern accent, and she's talking so fast, I don't barely know what she's saying. And Rango is killing me with the way he's showing out, and he's trying to riz her up. Spoiler alert, this dude has zero game. But Rango convinces her to take him to a little town called Dirt. Yes, Dirt. Like, that is not a pun. And Rango wastes no time cracking me up because he starts following the people in this village around and mimicking the way they walk. And then this dude Rango really walks up into the local saloon, and he is way out of his element. And the audacity of this guy to start saying he's a mythical killer named Rango, and he starts talking about how he killed 7 men with 1 bullet and all types of other crazy stuff.
"Are you the fella that killed them Jenkins brothers?"
Uh-huh. Killed him with 1 bullet.
Like, I don't know what he was thinking or how he thought this was going to play out. And clearly he didn't think that far ahead, because almost instantly after all that yapping, a group of actual Western cowboys come in and try to test his gangster by leading him outside for a duel. And this dude really panics and drops all of his bullets. Like, this scene was awesome, and it's the perfect example of why he is that fish out of water. He's about to find out that being a hero in a place like Dirt isn't just about the hat and the accent. It's about surviving the fact that you're selling a dream to people who are actually dying of thirst. And right before the trigger is pulled, the ultimate get out of jail free card drops from the sky. It's the same bird from the start of the movie that lands right behind Rango, and everyone runs inside, leading him to think he's hot stuff.
I take large steps, and I don't want none of you hayseeds getting your bodily fluids on my boots.
Then he turns around and the bird starts chasing him. And the way they animate the scene just really impressed me. Like, it's a high budget action movie, but with lizards, and it's Western. And do you remember those happy accidents I mentioned earlier? Well, one of them happens and he shoots a rope with the 1 bullet left in his gun, but this bullet ricochets and makes the water tower drop on the bird's head, ultimately killing it. And here's the real problem. He didn't just survive this bird attack, he accidentally became the legend he was portraying. And it's just really not a good thing, because now a whole town thinks this fraud is the only thing standing between them and extinction. So what does the mayor do? The mayor's about to give him way too much control he's not ready for. And Rango killing this bird gets him a meeting with the mayor, who also thanks him and says they really need a hero around here. And this dude must have been destined for this, because how do you go from a fish out of water to the sheriff in one afternoon? It's so absurd and unlikely to happen, but I absolutely love it. Like, he's basically faked it until he made it, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because now he's actually responsible for a whole town's survival. And the mayor isn't just handing out badges for fun, because in a place like Dirt, a badge isn't a gift, it's actually a target, and he's got a whole agenda hiding behind that smile. And the first test for our new legend comes way sooner than he expected, because right after we get our first hint at the mayor actually being the one behind the water going missing.
Almost noon. Is everything ready?
Yeah.
Which is interesting because on the surface, he's the one who you would think would be the first in line to figure out what is going on. But before Rango can even process that, there's a meeting or like an event where they open the spigot to give like the whole townspeople a bunch of water. But this time, the spigot doesn't open and just a clump of mud comes out. So the town people start to freak out and blame Rango because he's the sheriff, but also the new guy. And somehow him and all the people end up at the water bank where they have 6 days of water left. And this dude is really speaking to a group of town people while also drinking cups of water. Like, this dude is not a real person and he's really faking it.
So you belly on up and take you a double shot. Stay with me.
Like, he has no idea what he's doing. He's just trying to survive himself. And what do you know? The same night, all of the water in the bank gets stolen right under Rango's nose. So the next day, he grabs a group of people and gets them ready to go on a mission through the tunnels to try and get the water back. And while the group of them are in these tunnels, the posse runs into the dead body of the bank teller. But he wasn't just killed. He was drowned in a place where there's literally no water.
This man wasn't shot. He was drowned. In the middle of the desert?
This guy somehow has enough water to die in it. So this is when Rango really starts to get curious and begins to actually investigate what is going on. He's no longer just following the clues and going along with it. But this is where the fun, goofy movie stops just being fun, and we realize Rango is just still playing a character, but the people following him, they're actually starting to care for him and see him as part of their crew. And there's this really nice moment where the people pray to the spirit of the West, talking about how happy they are that it brought Sheriff Rango into their lives to keep them safe and on their venture to get the water back. But it's not just them praying and being happy that Rango's there. Rango also has a pretty cute moment with Beans, who is the lady lizard at the start of the movie, who's kind of just been watching him and go through these events, and then she joined his little posse to go get the water back. So the fact that Rango's not actually this hero or this grand sheriff that they know, it hits us a lot harder because we know if they found out that he isn't who he says he is, they won't just fire him, they'll probably bury him. And the pressure to keep this secret is about to get way worse because the next day we jump to an insane action scene where Rango and the posse go and successfully steal the water back. But what they didn't expect is how deep this mole rat crew was.
My entire family?
Because hundreds of them come out of the ground and surround him like you just would not expect it. And then somehow Rango and this crew escape, but it turns out the mole rats have bats as planes. Like, what is going on? And this dude Rango accidentally does some crazy stuff like stealing one of the flying bat planes and jumping back and forth and eventually landing back on the cart of stolen water. Like, it's a massive win, right? Like, the hero saves the day, the town gets their water back, and Rango keeps his secret. Except the universe isn't done with him yet because the bottle gets revealed to have been empty and a different bottle the whole time.
That's what I've been trying to tell you, Peppy. I found it in the desert.
So now the math starts adding up. If the water wasn't in the desert, it never left the town, which means Rango and his posse just fought a war over an empty bottle, and the robbery was just a distraction. And once Rango realizes the robbery was an inside job, he knows the guy who gave him the badge is the same guy who's been hiding the water from the people. So now he's heading back to Dirt City to confront the lying mayor. And 95% of you guys aren't subscribed already, so if you're enjoying this video so far, consider dropping a sub. When Rango meets with the mayor for a second time after not getting the water back, he starts to see the cracks in his story. The mud on the boots that match the prints left behind at the bank teller's death. He remembers the mayor saying,
"Control the water, and you control everything."
And the mayor instantly confirms this to the viewers, saying, call in Rattlesnake Jake. And Jake has been a mystery the whole movie, like a ghost story people told to Rango. So when he finally slides into town, yes, slides, the vibe completely shifts. Rango tries to keep the act going by giving his whole speech about how,
As long as that sign says sheriff, you can believe that there's law and order in this town.
but the sign instantly gets shot down by the one and only Rattlesnake Jake, who starts to just tease him and play with him, exposing him for all of his lies.
You ain't even from the West, are you? Say it!
And you can really see the heartbreak on all of the townspeople's faces. Like, I fully thought Rango would turn around and come up with something like, yeah, I'm not from West, I'm from yada yada yada. But no, he doesn't come up with anything. So a crushed and exposed Rango walks out of town and back to the highway. And what happens next really confused me because Rango runs into a human and he can talk to him. Is this like a dream, or is Rango like finally fully losing it? And whether he's real or just a hallucination from the heat, he's exactly what Rango needed in this moment, like, he's the reminder.
You came a long way to find something that isn't out here. Don't you see? It's not about you. It's about them.
So Rango decides to return to the town of dirt, but he isn't coming back empty-handed. So he goes back to the mole people and tells them 3 of your people are going to be convicted for something they didn't do, but help me and I'll free them. So they get their whole plan set in motion, and Rango calls Jake out to a duel, which is crazy because bro has like 1 bullet. Like, I don't know what his plan in this moment was gonna be, but it was definitely gonna be interesting. And this is very important, but remember, Rango isn't a gunslinger. He's just an actor. He's not trying to outshoot Jake. He's trying to distract him. So while he's staring down Jake, the mole rats are secretly underground moving the pipes, and Rango uses his 1 shot not to take out Jake, but to save it as a plan B for if anything were to go wrong. And good thing he did, because he ends up needing it to escape the mayor's final trap. And this is the moment where the movie fully loops back to the beginning. In Act 1, he accidentally dropped a water tower on a bird, but in Act 3, he intentionally floods the town to wash away all the corruption. With the town flooded with water, the mayor's whole plan literally goes down the drain, no pun intended. And get this, the mayor tries to work out a deal with Rango in the final moment, but Rango says,
You better take it up with him.
hinting at Rattlesnake Jake right behind him. And even Rattlesnake Jake needs to respect Rango, and he tips his hat because he realized that even though the lizard was a fake, the guts he showed were 100% real. And this leads me to say, Rango finally found his name, and dirt did finally get its hero. And I'm not even gonna lie, for a movie about a lizard in a Hawaiian shirt, this ends up being one of the best westerns I've seen in a minute. Like, I went in expecting a goofy kids movie and left with a story about identity, becoming the person you pretended to be, and what it actually means to be the hero everybody thought you were. So if you slept on this movie, fix that immediately, and let me know in the comments down below, did Rango surprise you too? And as always, stay curious and keep the conversation going.